Hello everybody, this is HD Shaves here. I'm back in the video. Hope this finds you well and in good spirits. Well, it's good to be back. Sorry I missed last week. I thought maybe I was going to post this video on Monday, the day after I returned from Switzerland, but I decided I wanted to give it a few days to kind of let some thoughts simmer in my mind, and now I'm prepared, slightly more prepared to share my thoughts with you on our little Swiss trip. So if you're not interested in hearing about the country of Switzerland today, then this video is not for you. However, even if you're not too interested in Switzerland, stick around because there might be something else to entice you to make your way through this video. So in honor of the trip, let's talk about the shaving gear quickly. I decided let's do a Euro shave, all European gear today. And the only actual kind of Swiss heritage product that I think I've ever tried is the Swiss Pitralon. Thank you very much to the person who risked their alcohol shipping legality things to send that to me. But yeah, that's the Swiss Pitralon. We'll be using that as the aftershave. We'll be using a Gillette flat bottom tech made in England with the hollowed out handle. I used to use this razor all the time. Not on this particular handle, but the same razor head anyway, and it's good to return to it every now and then. For the soap, using one from a Spanish artisan by the name of Lodrino, and this is called La Barbería, the barbershop. So this used to be an exclusive soap for a chat group that I used to belong to with the same name, and I saw that he's now since released this scent to the public with a different label that I'm not quite as fond of, so I'm happy to have gotten this label here. This is a tallow-based soap, and it's like a woody labdanum kind of thing. I've never really picked out too many specific notes from the scent, even when I first got it a year or two ago. But yeah, it's kind of got that woody base, and then there's like a sweet top note to it. This is what the soap looks like. It's a very pleasant scent. I've never had any issues with the scent. It just, I can't really pick any things out in particular. That's the soap for today. Finally, the brush, as I shake some water out, is the Zenith B33 boar brush made in Italy, Sicily, I believe, to be precise. And the B33 number, I'm fairly sure, is the number that the Gentle Shave uses here for his website in the US. So if you're looking for this brush in Europe, you might have to use a different number. So I wanted a little bit of scrub today, so I decided to go with this. So let's start just loading the soap, and as usual, we'll talk as we go. So I hope everybody had a good new year. It's easy for me to forget that sometimes the holidays can be not so fun of a time for people, and I was reminded of that fact. We're just going straight into the real stuff here today. I was reminded of this fact when I was walking over a bridge in Lausanne, which is a city not far from Geneva in Switzerland, and the bridge has these huge, like, what do you call them? Well, it's like you have the, like, imagine this is the level of where the rail is to, hold on as you're walking across the bridge, and then it's got these huge, like, kind of protector things on it, because that bridge is infamous for people jumping off of to commit suicide. And okay, I had heard of that before. Bridges are tall and they could be fatal if you jump off the right one. However, the thing I did not consider was the fact that the holidays can be an especially difficult time for places. And so what I learned was during the holiday months, maybe during December or something, they will put up a hut at the end of one of the sides of the bridge, and there's a like Swiss psychologist, therapist, something there that you can just go in and talk to. They really don't want you to jump off that bridge, right? And that's just one of the many things that surprised me about that country. Of course, I think it's a good thing. You know, they sometimes I think the way, and yeah, we'll maybe get a little political here today, but I'm not trying to offend anybody or anything. But I guess there's more of a scientific way to talk about this, which is to say that sometimes the way people deal with problems is they try to deal with the symptom rather than the cause, right? So the symptom for those people in Lausanne is that they get very depressed or what have you, and then there they go, off the bridge. So I like how the government there implemented things to help prevent the symptom, and that they made it really difficult to jump off. Like you really have to work to get over that kind of barrier. But beyond that, they're also trying to work on the cause of people doing that, which is that they have mental issues, and perhaps they get worse during the holiday times. So anyway, that was one example of a very Swiss, and maybe they do that in other European countries too, but that really struck me as being pretty, dare I say, sensible. So go figure, that's how we start off this video, talking about people jumping off a bridge. But you know, sometimes you gotta talk about the real stuff, you know? I'm just gonna keep adding water here, and I think what I'm gonna do today is, instead of doing the usual thing where I speed up my lathering in between passes, I'm just going to include captioned photos during that time. And so then when I cut back in to the video, it should just be me about to start the pass. So in fact, let's do that now. I'm going to add some more water. I'll show you a couple pictures, and then we'll start the first pass. So stay tuned. So I'm going to try to do the trip pictures kind of in chronological order, which is to say that the first 2 days we were in the city of Geneva. So hopefully those pictures were just in Geneva, and then I'll tell you more about the trip as we go. But at this point in the video, let's announce that I'm going to be giving away this Gillette Slim Adjustable with the day code H2. This was given to me by a supporter of the channel months and months ago, and I'm just now remembering that I need to give this away. So leave somewhere in your comment below Slim Jim, and I'll pick a winner perhaps next week. This razor is in pretty good condition. Could probably use a light polish, but functions as it should. And there's a funny story about this razor and how it was found, and I'll be happy to share that with the winner once we get to that point. Okay, so let's go with the first pass with the Gillette flat bottom tech. This is a Personna Med Prep blade, which I just can't seem to get enough of these days. Right, so the first 2 days were in Geneva. Then we spent 1 day in that city, Lausanne, I was talking to you about, that has the bridge. And then on that day, we took the train up to, it's not up, it's like across the lake to the town of Montreal, which many of you who are into music will know about the Montreal Jazz Festival. And that was a really cool thing to see. I've never seen a city that was so proud to be the home of a music festival like that. So they had this park near the lake where you could take pictures with these sculptures of famous people that had played at the festival before. Carlos Santana, Ella Fitzgerald, people like that. And so that was really cool to see. Beautiful sculptures. And then additionally, just all of the stores around there, they will work the word jazz into their brand name, which I thought was funny. So like there's like a jazz pharmacy, but that doesn't mean that you can go get illicit substances there. It's just that's the name of the pharmacy, right? So that was just really cool to see as somebody who does that as a profession. Unfortunately, I definitely run into situations, not necessarily here in Chicago, but in other cities in the U.S. Where people ask me what I do. I'm a little bit hesitant to tell them that I'm a performing musician, particularly in jazz. People often don't really understand what that means to do in general, let alone do it as like a career. So anyway, I have no problem telling people there that I was a jazz player, right? Okay, first pass done, pretty good. We spent 2 days after that there was one, so 2 days of Geneva, one of Lausanne at kind of in the middle and the end. Maybe I'll put those back to back, that would make more sense. So these next pictures will be from Lausanne. So I'll rinse and then we'll start pass number 2. So second pass across the grain, mostly. Lausanne, I'm getting my places mixed up now. So Lausanne is still on the French part of the country, of course. By train, it's only maybe 45 minutes from Geneva, so not far. And Lausanne had a little bit of a different vibe to it. So Geneva is known as being this rather fancy city, lots of money there, and maybe not as much of a working class population as a city like Lausanne. But I think Lausanne is still one of the, I believe it's in the top 5 cities in Switzerland for population. But maybe I could say that Lausanne is a little bit more down to earth than Geneva. Still had plenty of old architecture. For example, the old cathedral, I think it's been there since the 1400s. And no matter where you go in that country, the food would seem to be excellent. I was really impressed with the food there. And of course, it's not cheap, but I do feel like you get what you pay for there in most areas. So certainly all the food was excellent. And the train, all the public transit, the kind of regional train that gets you from town to town, like to go from Geneva to Lausanne. Those trains are excellent. You can get across the whole country that way. And then within each town, like in Lausanne, we took the bus, we took the subway, the metro, as they call it there. And it's all run extremely, extremely well. You do not need a car when you go there. I know lots of people that live there that don't have a car for work. They just take the train everywhere. So it's a fantastic public transit system. And I believe their trains are considered number 1 in all of Europe. So if you're beating out the rest of the European countries, then you know it's a really good system. So now should be burn pictures. This is kind of in the middle of the country, north of Geneva and Lausanne, certainly. And this is the capital city, Switzerland. So here's some pictures from that. Right, here's the third pass against the grain, mostly. So Bern, like I said, is the capital city, and we had been just starting to figure out the French they were speaking in Geneva and Lausanne. And then we get to Bern, and that's not what they speak there. They, I think it's officially German, like it's you know, it's definitely part of the German part of the country. But really what they speak there is their local dialect called Bernese. Makes sense, right? And so that is, we would kind of eavesdrop into a conversation like at a bar, and then not understand anything at all. And we even got confused once because we heard someone say merci, so we thought they were speaking something more like standard French, but turns out they say that there even if they're speaking Swiss German or Bernese or that kind of thing. So we were sufficiently confused, but you know, the thing I have to credit those people for is amidst all of their cultural language confusion, all those people spoke very good English, and we never had an issue with us not speaking much French or German at all. So I have to give credit. As I understand it, they learn all of those languages in school now. French, German, English. I'm sure you have the option to learn Italian even if you're not in the Italian part of the country. But yeah, between everybody speaking English and the train system, I think it's very tourist friendly. I wasn't expecting to think that, but also very family friendly. Lots of people walking around with kids. Of course, my pessimistic American view is that it's perhaps slightly easier to raise a family in Europe compared to here. I'm not saying it's easy anywhere, but maybe it's slightly easy in Europe than here. So that's why I felt like I saw lots and lots of families, even though we were in city centers most of the time. And that's something that I don't like about the US. If you're in the downtown areas of a city, you don't expect to see kids because most people here don't prefer to raise their kid in like downtown Chicago. You know, they move to the suburbs and get a white picket fence and then that's it. Whereas in lots of parts of Europe, people do raise their families in the city, and so don't be surprised if you see some families there, right? So yeah, you can bring your kid, have a good time. Not quite as orderly on the sidewalk as I would have liked. That's my, what's the word? My like jaded Chicagoan opinion is they don't necessarily walk on the right or the left. Even if it were on the left, I've done that before. Like in most parts of Japan, they walk on the left, so you got to walk on the left. But there's a little bit more of a free for all, and I haven't quite bounced this off anybody yet. But I think the European view of raising children is a little different than ours, which is to say that everybody's walking everywhere, and it's not a very tight leash on the kids, to use a and I'm bored. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna rinse and then come back and talk to you over some Swiss Pitralon. Stay tuned. Here we go. Let's hit it with the Pitralon 160 milliliter bottle, which is like 4 or 5 ounces or something. it's a lot. Made sure to thoroughly dry my face because you don't need any residual water to apply this. It's just alcohol, fragrance, maybe a little glycerin. Woo, here we go. Really not much burn. Must have gotten a good shave. It's kind of got like a pear thing going on, but the good news with this one is that if you don't like it, it's not like the scent stays with you for very long. It really absorbs straight into the skin. And yeah, it's a nice scent. I wouldn't say it reminds me of my 6 days in Switzerland, but I appreciate it for what it is and that it's a nice Swiss-made product. Okay, there we go. So let's do a final recap. We used the Gillette Flat Bottom Tech, made in England. Great little razor. Still recommend people try that one out if they haven't yet. The Zenith boar brush here did a really nice job, actually. I've been having some issues with some of my other boar brushes lately, but that one did really well. And then Lodrino, La Barbería, and this is what the soap looks like after it's been rinsed off, if that is important to you. So remember, Slim Jim, if you're interested in that. And I am willing to send it anywhere in the world. Just sending a razor is not that difficult to send outside of the US. So yeah, thank you all so much. If you've been to Switzerland, let me know. Let me know what your impressions were. If you're a European, I know I've got a lot of European viewers, which I'm thankful for. If you all have a perspective on, you know, oh, that thing you said, that's unique to Switzerland. We don't do that here. Or, you know, that thing you said, that's common in our continent. I would love to hear from you. And I guess the overarching thing that this sort of came to me last night, which is, you know, it's good. I'm glad I waited until now to post this video because I wouldn't have had this thought Monday. But my big conclusion from visiting their country is that they have a lot of the same issues that we do here in the US. Other countries do. Suicide, drug use, guns, gun violence, homelessness. They have those problems. We have those problems here in Chicago, to be specific. But it's the way that they dealt with those issues that felt uniquely not non-American. You know, it felt like definitely their own thing, or maybe something that they do, like I said, in other parts of Europe. So that's something I'm going to try to take with me this year, just kind of in my day-to-day life. Is lots of us are going through the same struggles, same problems, but how can we change our way that we treat those problems? Because it's not like these problems are going to go away overnight. Maybe not even, you know, in the next 50 years. It could take a long time. So anyway, that's my soapbox. Thanks for hanging in there. This has been HG Saves. Take care. We'll see you again next time. Goodbye.